Alright, everyone. Or the collecting thing I'm doing for this tarot reading. This is a tarot reading for Gemini Sun, Sagittarius Moon, Scorpio Rising, and Capricorn Venus. This may or may not be uploaded to the main channel. I'm pretty sure I'll put this at least on Diggs or Tony Cashman. Most likely Tony Cashman because I have a lot of good stuff on there already. Just not as frequently as the other three alts I have. But, so yeah, I'm going to say once again, I'll put in the title as well. Gemini Sun, Sagittarius Moon, Scorpio Rising, and Capricorn Venus. So the four of those planets in the zodiac. What that would technically entail is something like guiding with your curiosity foremost, still being comfortable by being a part of a sun baby aesthetic. You still and how much wisdom comes with that. You still technically want to. I'm probably pulling this out, I'm not saying anything, but like you still think of being ambitious as a sexually motivated and sexual energy driven person, but you still, in any fashion, not necessarily romantic, you would love more than anything to be ambitious. So think how that resonates, even that didn't make any sense at all, or even what was the point? But so let's go with that energy. The first question I'll give for you guys is I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to jump to the conclusion what your question is yourself, and I'm going to see if those mix together. So that's going to be a little more creative. My question for you guys is, what do you want to do with your life? Your question, I think you're going to ask me, is how does this resonate with me? And I don't mean that in a personal projection. I mean that more like, how does this resonate with me in a positive light? But I'm spinning it off because I sound like I'm being negative about it being as I'm attacking personal. I'm not trying to. I'm not. I'm not. But yeah. So to mix that up, we have now a fusion question known as, what's the next best thing that I can inspire you to do? So Tony Cashman will inspire you, Gemini Suns, Sagittarius Moons, Capricorn Venuses, and Scorpio Risings to, as according to Mortification, you guys don't give up. Like, deliberately. I will give advice for this as well. As a Taurus Rising, do you know what the secret is to my infinite patience trademark? Trademark? It's trying new things. It's not even necessarily knowing that something will be worth at the very, 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 very end of what I'm doing with all this BS and trudging through it. It's trying new things. If you actually think about it, the things that you don't do differently will be your own burden. They don't have to compromise you, but there's so much crap you don't have to put up with. Even if you're still infinitely patient trademark, you still don't have to put up with it. And it's like, but some things you don't have to deal with at all. And there's a big difference between pushing through the hard work of dealing with what the universe throws at you to test you and the challenges and obstacles you face, and even roadblocks. Thank you, Rich Lump. And dealing with people who have no business dealing with you in the first place. That's not to say that people don't teach you lessons for being in your way, but they shouldn't have to stay in your way. When people say that they're workaholics, they're not saying don't deal with anything that isn't your problem, but isn't your fault, but is your problem. It's more like just do something, anything, and then it'll work out. And just dealing with people in that regard can be a little annoying because they don't have to stay in your way, but sometimes they do. So it's up to you to decide how to set those boundaries. So for mortification, just don't give up, and more to that as well, if I can delve into it. Delving, getting a little deeper for the advice or the outcome. Let's do a little bit delving and then outcome advice. Um, Delving deeper. Why should you not give up, Gemini Suns, and etc. etc. Um, Something is telling me to pull out for Venus, which in your case, guys, was your Capricorn. So it sounds like a double standard, not in the bad way, but more like a double positive, which is the secret behind double positives isn't so much that 1 + 1 = 3 in symmetrical geometry, sacred geometry. That's a bit of a smart ass way to put it in spiritual ways, but but none of that shit applies right now, not yet at least. What I'm saying is, even if it sounds pointless to tell your employees to train, even if they already know what they're doing, there's a reason why they need to train. It's same with you guys. You may think it's like monotonous, like pointless to say the same thing twice. Don't give up and work hard towards your goals with a burning passion in your soul. It might sound like the exact same thing. It's not, because I said that differently for one thing. I'd be smart about that. But you guys know what I mean when I say that doing the same thing over and over again is not actually the definition of sanity. Things change, people change, things don't stay the same. There's no stasis. These things are different, and some people aren't insightful enough to understand that. They just don't apply it for some reason. So I'm gonna go quickly for the outcome, and then I have a follow-up advice and a bonus maybe. What is the outcome for Gemini Suns, Sagittarius Moons, Capricorn Venuses, and Scorpio Risings? So I'm being called to pull out either one of these two cards. I'm gonna look between the similar color. Yeah, that looks true. Okay. Uh, the Drowned King. Uh, yeah, the Drowned King. Okay. Um, and what was my question? I'm gonna do another fuse question. My question for you, selectives, is what is the outcome? Asking the question before after I redraw the card. What is the outcome of you not giving up on something that you actually love to do anyways? And that would mix with your question, guys, of who is this tarot reading? It would mix with the question of how do you know this? And it's like that mixed question will now equal uh, how do I know? How do we know? How do we, we're partnership in this, how do we know in any fashion? How do we know that this is worth doing in spite of it being something you love to do? And that's not a dumb question. There's no such thing as dumb questions, only dumb answers. Even if people still take those personally or say that there's dumb answers. That's to each their own. So when I get the Drowned King, it's because too many people give up. It sounds dead simple, but sometimes it's simple and cliche because it's true. And I think too many people give. They have, the thing about cancer neurosis is that even if you know the answers to your problems, if you know the secret insight to what you're dealing with, and even have a lot of omniscient knowledge, you still have to do something. And it's like some people will wait their whole lives like super glue to their friends and their family, and they don't do anything about the things they talk about. I've been there myself before. To be fair, I like to talk about things before I do them, but or even not have to worry about doing anything or prove anything evidently and factually, guarantee not, before I should do anything. But that's why it matters when you can actually engage into something without actually meaning to create a result. Because even if the world really does only care about results, you're not worried about having to make that be the thing of every damn conversation, in my opinion. There's a lot of weird interchanges between unique social groups where they're like, "Oh, I'm just like every other person on the planet," but then they still treat you differently than everyone else. So it's like, so you know what I mean, though, right? It's like hopefully, just don't. But I can delve that personally myself, anyway. So just and finally, but yeah, basically, yeah, too many people give up. Don't give up because too many people already do. And not only that, but when you don't give up, you find things and experiences and relevant experience. You find different answers to problems that you didn't even know could exist, and you get even more things than that. I find from my own personal life that when I did not give up being humble and lovable and excited having a love of my life, I did not have to worry about what I found there later. I just did that for the merit of it, and I still end up finding a lot of treasures in that. I still pull it back to the popular group for myself, to say at least, if that's not explained enough. But I don't worry about what the answers could be or the bonuses or the treasures would be. I do it because of the sake of the love for it. And that's what you get from the other card, Venus and John King and Mortification. Is that, well, particularly the Venus card, the second and third cards, that's what is the thing, is that you didn't have to worry about giving up because you would really love doing it anyways. And that's a beautiful thing. Advice for my Gemini Suns, Sagittarius Moons, Capricorn Venuses, and Scorpio Risings. Tropical or sidereal, all the fuck is the point? Oh, there's monetization. This is my personal channel, anyways. Okay. My final mixed question before I get into the bonus is for you guys. My question is, do you want to try to do different things in spite of what the right answers are? And your question is, the how do you know that you're doing it right, even if it's simple? And those two questions mix to make um, when do I get to finally do something different, even if it's the wrong way to do it? And I don't even need a tarot card for that. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. Um, no matter who's right or factual or guaranteed to be right in this world, no matter who has the facts or the wisdom that can only be one way or the other, not even being strict, not even being patronizing, you find things that actually make sense to you, not only through relevant experience, as I keep saying, but because you don't have to worry about the people who freaking have all the other answers you need or might need to only be right about. They don't even then, there's a way to judge the facts, and there's a very sick, wicked way this works. There's a way to judge the facts. I'm going to draw a card anyways for this. We're going to use this last one for the bonus, Ash. But that's my answer without the cards is before getting that card, Ash, you can judge the facts to the point where even if you know when something is solid and concrete, you can still mess up the path and the way it's applied. The application is very important. Even if you're schizophrenic and you don't know what you're doing, you don't have to tell people that listening to them is fatal. Let them be their own damn sheep. But yeah, I just with Ash in mind, I'm gonna draw one more card for the bonus, which will be just oil vitriol. Uh, but yeah, it's like you can judge the facts very poorly, and it comes to a very wicked end sometimes. To answer the question of when do I do anything different, even in spite of the right or wrong answers in life, and it's just let things end the way they have to end, even if that's factual, even if that's mortal, and then let things become new with the spark of something truly new that can't be possibly new according to the dig a hole can't be new kind of Bible thing. Sort of like where you say, oh, there's nothing such a thing as new ideas, but there are new concepts and new combinations. No, 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 no. There are new things regardless of what has already been done. Because when you birth a new idea, and especially a connection for its own example and merit, it's never been done in that way. So even if the routes to it, the particles and the construction of that new idea are still already done at least once. Do you know how the freaking purpose of life and meaning of life shit get mixed up? Like someone once said that I like this a lot. That the meaning of life is to have proof of existence, and similar when you come down to the purpose of life for individual people, you find the common denominator between your purpose and someone else's purpose going from there. What I'm saying is, if you have to think of a new idea never being original for any extent that needs to be, I don't think it really matters whether it's truly new or not. In my opinion, it already is uniquely new. But for you Gemini Suns in particular, I think you just need to give it a chance. I'm the kind of person who would rather open the Pandora's box and the Schrodinger's cat and all the other jargon because I believe in new ideas, no matter what they cause or do not cause. With Ash and Oil of Vitriol, I beseech you guys to listen to your own paths and hearts. Like the last question was suggesting, the new ideas that don't even have to be proper or comfortable or even make any sense at all or even be worthwhile or possible to survive with, you need to find that out for yourself, Gemini Sons. Just Gemini, listen. I'm not even trying to be sarcastic with this. Like, look at me. I spend like eons in my room in this house, freaking talking to myself, making videos every freaking other while, not knowing how to drive a car, not knowing how to make friends, even though I said I'm a multitasking extrovert. Do you think my Piscean self knows that that actually works? Because I do. Not just for me, not just for why I've been able to succeed at, regardless in the spiritual and material plane alike. My point, Gemini, is that you have to do something, but that's taken for granted. There are things that you don't have to do at all that are also so called right answers in life, but you're going to want to do things in a beautiful manner, anyways, no matter what that means. People will tell you this is wrong, this is impossible, this is literally impossible, this is only guaranteed. Freak those people. Do something, anything, and it will lead you to a path you couldn't possibly imagine. What I get from mortification, Venus, the Drowned King, Ash, and Oil Vitriol, from this mixed Gemini, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Scorpio reading, is that Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus kind of thing, not in that order. You're going to want to do things your own way, anyways, even if they lead to the literal end of the world. Do not be afraid of what the right answer is, or what the guaranteed science is, or what the freaking loss of opportunities would be in your life. If you can find a way to be safe and sound in your own beautiful environment in life and living, it does not matter how ambitious you are. It does not matter how normalcy wise you are. It does not matter what you do or do not do. You decide that for yourself, give it your own meaning, and take your own time figuring out what would be different, even if it wasn't necessary. What beautiful steps you could take to do brilliant things, even if they're not even proper or moral or even possible in the first place. Thank you very much, Gemini Sun, Sagittarius Moons, Capricorn Venuses, and Scorpio Risings. I will see you in another video, possibly, but that was just my Alchemy Hexagon deck. And yeah, so this is my first mixed reading for the zodiac signs. I usually do like 2 or 3 Pisces readings before, and that was for my own self at least. So it's like there's no telling how accurate this would be. The advice for me was very solid to give in my own confident light, maybe high horsed, but that's the idea. So once more, Gemini suns, Sagittarius moons, Scorpio risings, and Capricorn Venuses. I know you don't know how accurate that could even be, because it's just, but it tells a story of its own. So even if this was still scarabaneing in itself, I don't denounce it any differently. I already did this, so I had to try something. And that's my message to you guys already. You have to try something to be beautiful, even if it's not the right way to do it, so to speak. Because for it to be the wrong way, and it still be worth it for a beautiful reason, you learn something from it, the whole experience that no one else could ever fashion for you.